Okay, we just left the house and we're headed up the hill to take some cabins apart. It's a little wet this morning, but it's supposed to be good weather in the next 3 or 4 or 5 days. We better get to work on it though, so we're headed up the hill. Up past the party house. Back here. Up through the gate to the pond. David's going to open the gate. That's the creek that dumps into the pond over there below us. We're just driving across the dam. Jump out. First building we're going to work on is this little one here. We're going to take the roof off and throw it right next to the end of it over there where the roof caved in that other section. Then we're going to move over to the house and clean out the house and take it over to the burn spot over there in the field. See it? Just on the other side of the tree in the road. All the junk in the house needs to go over to that burn pile. Hi, pal. Okay, we about got the outside cleaned up. The boys are pulling nails out of a couple of nice stacking or blocking boards. We caved that piece in over here, so we've been stacking stuff in it for the burn pile right here. We've got some real nice wood out here they can either burn or keep. Select to go through. We've been stacking our junk either in the truck, metal and plastic and glass, and that right there. Put the nails in the bucket. They don't fall on the ground. Like that. And Ryan has the window frames and a couple of the door frames cleaned out. So this is the front. You see the roof still on. We're going to start working on the roof right now.
Waiting for.
We got the inside cleaned out. What happened there? What happened here? No, let's not be doing that.
We can do that.
That's a clean break. Gotta be really careful. Okay. The inside all cleaned out. Ready to mark, and we'll get a tape measure, measure all the logs so we have more than one way to map what's going on here. Ryan's over there tearing the front porch off of the 2-story house at the Homeland. We're up here in sprinkling rain, trying to stay dry. Everybody's wet enough that they're not too worried about it. Hey, David. Nephi is taking the door frame out. Tyson's back. Tyson? Yeah. Can't see you. Tyson's back in the tree working on the porch with Ryan. pulling off the door and window frames, then we're going to pull down the roof. What's rotten and make room, make the whole place ready to crane down the logs tomorrow and the next day. We're getting it. And then we're carrying all the rotten stuff out to the burn pile out there across the road from the tree, the grass. We finished taking the roof and the miscellaneous stuff off of this little building, the goat shed, this morning. Most of the window frames are cleared out. Most of the roof is gone. On the other side, all of the roof is gone. You can see right up through the roof logs now. We took the roof off. There was still a lot of roof left on this side. And cleaned this out. The logs are fairly clean in there. It was all pretty dry under the roof on this side. It's 5:30 or so and the kids are getting tired and I'm about wore out, so we're going to head home. But we got a lot of the door and window frames stripped. All the insides cleaned out. We haven't taken apart the stairs, but we cleaned the mess out that was on the floors. And we've got the chimney down to right there. It's all come apart brick by brick, and we've only broken 2 bricks. And I think if we're careful, we can take it on down just 1 brick at a time. It's working out pretty good, and that way it won't fall on us. Got the ground pretty much cleaned up outside and hauled over to the burn pile. You see that back in there? It's getting to be a pretty good sized burn pile. We loaded some of the bricks, but I don't think we can carry it all, so we've got a stack here and what's left in the chimney, so we'll have to make a couple of trips down with bricks. Wake up. We just saw some turkeys. If I can get them fast enough, there they go into the weeds. Nephi's up there on the roof. Ryan's on the roof. Work slowly, step carefully, watch for broken pieces.
And if we need to, when we start taking these walls down on this side, just cut a log with a pit over there to stand on or something.
Yeah.
If we need it. We'll just leave that bottom.
This front left corner is the bottom, just because of the rot.
Yeah. So we'll probably take this log, this bottom in here, and rip it to sit on the bottom, so everything will match in on the front one.
Well, now it's okay on around, because your door and ceiling heights aren't going to be very good if you don't go down as far as you can go.
Well, the front, yeah, we're going to have to do something with the front anyway. Let's see on the side. We're 8, no, that's not quite 8 feet.
You may have to make a new log for the bottom, or find one of these for the bottom, but at least you need your height to get up.
Yeah, yeah, that's possible. But we can't save them. We can't save that one down there.
No.
Well, no. Well, actually, why don't we put the stickers on it, and then we can have numbers to work with.
Okay.
Making the notes. Let's just put the stickers on it.
Time for lunch. We're all headed back. Here comes Pal. You going to get in with us or follow us?
You know speaking English.
Yeah, I am. Brooke came with us this trip. We're going to hook up to the crane, start taking this building down. Okay, we're going to start with the front of this building. This is the east side. You see the windows on each side. On the right side we have EA 1 through 13. The hole in the bottom. Then we have DA. The broken piece comes out of D9.
We got this thing on the top.
This side is E1 through 12.
Disconnect these.
This is southeast 1 through 13.
Just a minute. They took out at the.
Okay, I'm still on the east side. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cross members up there. See, get a little closer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's nothing below that. But as we come over just a foot or two, we have another set. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, almost 13 down the middle here. Let's go over to the end of the east side. This is southwest, he says, southwest. Connected to WA 1 through 13 and 14. As well keep on going here. We've got 2 windows on this side. Nice big chunks in the bottom. Good solid wood. Over to W1 in this corner, connected to northwest 1 through 15 on this side. We come along. We got the logs up the center, end ports, and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up there that come out of the end. Two, 3, 4 top beams over to the northeast 1 through 14 and the EA 1 through 13. Like that. From the front door and come around to the north side, I think it's the north side, and he's got C1 through A, 1 through 12, marked next to CN, like that. CN 7, CN 8, next to CA 8 and CA 9, up to this corner here, which is kind of below the little wall that goes across out in the middle over here. Which has the 2 windows above it. Then down on this side, we have C 1 through 10 or 11, and CS 12, 10, 9, 8, 7 through 1 down there on the bottom. CC1 is below C2, but CS2 I mean, but CS1 connects to the log. You might be able to see it out there, but we can't in here. All the way around, no markings on the inside on this corner to the door. Okay, let's go on in to the second room. We had a couple of beams holding up the ceiling here, but not sure we're going to be using those. Let's go on into this room. He's got CA13 marked out here where this wall starts. And then up in the inside there, he's got some more LA in the center wall. LA6, LA5, etc., connected to LN 3, 4, 5, and 6 at the top. Then he's got a log marked RN1, RN2, RN3 down to the corner. Right there. We go on across, no markings in this corner. Markings in that corner. Big logs up the top. Markings in there are L6 to LS7. L6 to LS7, 654, etc. And this is C12 here. C12. Okay. Back out again. There's a log under that doorway, and there's also a log under this doorway, the C2. C North 1. Okay, I'm up here on the northwest corner. Look, standing on top of these beams, you got R3, R2, connected to RN2, R1 connected to R1 in this upper corner. L6 and LS1, there's the top of that system. R2 and R3 down to this corner, which doesn't look very good. There, get back up on top. Hi, puppy. See how that roof structure worked. There was a double roof. The beams underneath were the ceiling, and then there were some connected into these holes, which were 1.5 feet above the other ones that went down on top of the top plate down there. Pretty interesting. And then underneath my feet here is just the same thing that goes out here, so when all that comes out, this top wall is hanging by itself above nothing. Never mind.
They got the crane going. Isn't that a shot?
Okay. Need to tie my rope on.
You want to tie it on, you say?
Probably should on this one.
Okay.
Maybe not, because we could go all the way down last time.
Yeah.
Alright.
As long as we don't scratch
Pull the
wall.
logs off the cabin. Cause it's fun.
Somebody up on the ladder, David?
There's Pal. He's in the house.
Hold that away from you enough that it's okay, but not so much that it scratches.
We got
Okay,
these
disconnect it,
clouds
David.
coming
Right here on
over
the boat.
towards us, and they're gonna
Pull
kill
that
us
bolt
all.
off.
That's as far as I can go.
They're moving
It'll
so
come apart.
fast.
It's like a pot of water boiling. Steam coming off.
Isn't that something?
See that bolt?
A nut.
The nut. See? You can let go of the rope,
Yeah,
David.
take it apart, David.
I know.
Pull that bolt out and then put the nut back on the bolt.
Brooks just got out of the truck. She's been in there
Got
for
it?
a while. It's raining hard. Everything's
Okay,
wet.
untie that rope.
Put that nut back
Nephi, you can untie the ropes off of the pole now.
My finger's not long enough to zoom in. Gotta nub.
Where are your gloves? Work.
Moving clouds. It's gotten bigger.
There's 2 pulled through.
comes the cloud.
It's really creeping on us. We're gonna die. Tyson's right in the perfect
Okay,
position.
David, let's get this one on.
Right by the sun.
Okay, we need people to lift logs out from the inside here. Ready?
Strong boys lifting that log.
And look.
Got this is Brooke. She's turning the wheel.
Hey, hold on, Tyson, don't let it swing
She's
out
pretty
there.
strong actually.
Keep going, Brooke.
There's Tyson up there.
He did for Tyson. That's good to stop though if you. Down.
Keep going. Just a little more. Alright, that should be
That'll
enough.
do.
Okay,
You got them
Okay.
locked in?
we're coming around.
Okay.
Oh, Smith.
That's
Yes,
the
ma'am.
last beam.
Alright.
It's that cable got on the wrong side.
Ryan, you can go out, stabilize this end. I think you're all right there.
Okay, you got her all.
Okay, so we're untying the rope. Nephi and Ryan. Ryan got hit
Nothing over here. It's
ladder.
going around.
Accidentally fell and hit Ryan in the back with the ladder.
Alright, you can hold it there. We're gonna get this one.
Okay.
And now they're getting ready to move this log. Tyson's up there tying the rope with my dad.
Get that load of logs. Here comes the logs down the hill. Grandpa's got half the goat shed on the back of that trailer. Tyson's following him to make sure that the here they come. Looks like it did pretty good. That's the only thing we're worried about. You made it. Now we got both Tyson and David in the. Ryan's sitting right here. Ryan and Nephi. And Brooke, here we go. Ah! We're gonna get run over. Here, move that out of the way. Coming down the hill, Grandma just called and said she's hungry. She's glad we're coming home.
Keep Ryan to drive.
Look out, pal. Here we go. Turning the home corner here. See if we can hit a bull on the way home. Still sprinkling just a little bit. Actually, it's not sprinkling much at all, but it sure got wet there for a few minutes. The sun shined all morning and it was 70 degrees, and then it got rainy this afternoon. It even hailed on us a couple of times. Good thing we have steady shot on this truck. That's a cow, that's not a bull.
I know. Watch out, Grandpa's gonna get mad at you.
All right. What a cutie. All right. I meant you, not the bull. Or not the cow.
Get away! Supposed to charge it.
Now I can see what I'm doing. There we're at, almost to the homestead.
Hello? Anybody hear me?
Hit my head.
We're almost back. I'm bored.
The old disc sitting there in a cornfield.
I said I'm bored.
Through the gate. Ryan's opening the gate.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
we made it.
Oh well.
And into the house. Grandma's on the radio in there talking to us. Jenny's watching.
Uncle Mike is recording you. They all disappeared.
There's Aunt Jenny standing. Oh, she went away. Hey, the tractor's just come back here. Pulled in and backed in through the corral gate here. We'll unload it in the hay shed.
Inside the corral, you have to come around the back of this way.
Gotta move some things, make room for it all. Nice and dry in here. Must be what they're gonna do then, is stack it all right here in the shed.
All this stuff here. These can go into the fire pile.
We're parking the crane for lunch. Hi, John. John's got a fire started back here. The boys have been putting logs on.
You got it really high.
Yeah, it got
That might be a real picture.
flames 20 feet in the air.
Yeah. We had a fire pile there with just old dry wood and stuff that was probably 4 times that high.
Is that right?
It was too big. It was scary.
Yeah, you could scare that tree getting it that big.
Yeah, it was, the flames were taller than the tree.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was really something. It was a perfect day, but it was just too big of a fire.
Then we've almost decided we don't need the crane for the house.
That'd be really nice, huh?
Yeah, the logs are small enough that
And light enough.
and light enough, and the house is tall enough that the crane may not work much for us anyway.
Maybe up on the top parts, it probably wouldn't work that much anyway.
Yeah.
But you got some muscle here, so.
Yeah. That we start on either later today or tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
Hey, this morning the crew's been up here and we've craned off all the higher logs and got down to a point where we could lift them off by hand, set them down to the guys, and they just carry it over, which is real nice because it goes so fast. We have a full load of logs. We've set the crane off to the side for now, but the goat shed's about down. One more load, maybe 2 more loads of logs. Not much left in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the one side and 6 on the other side, and the center ones. And the back ones are about 4 or 5 level, so we ought to be able to fit all that maybe on one load, huh? The boys are loading the bricks right now.
Thought this is the people from Finland, the name of Holmlund, Holmlund, homesteaded this piece up here. It was shortly before the turn of the century. And as we have seen the buildings, the building that we took down way over at the far end of the meadow apparently was their first building. It was not real craftsmanship put into it. It was something to get into is what it seemed like. It was a 16 by 16. Then they came over here, and these buildings, this one here, the main house, seems to have been made at a factory or made somewhere else and brought here, because it has numbers on all the logs. Even on the molding, there was numbers. It was interesting. But down over the hill here, they built a smokehouse and put this huge stove in it. And it was 10 by 10. We took the building down. That was the first building we took down, and set it up in the park for a bathroom. And apparently for convenience, they dug into the mountainside here.
Mississippi Range, yeah, number 30, what did that say there?
Oh, there is numbers on that, isn't there? Number 20. Number 20.
Yeah, number 20.
There's the air vent came in from the bottom through a.
It still has the old air vent sitting here in the ground. Yeah.
It was insulated with mud in the ceilings.
And that's where the stove sat.
Yeah, that's.
Is that right? Never been moved.
We didn't move it.
But there was a building on it.
Yeah. It was 10 by 10 and about 8 feet high,
Uh-huh.
top logs.
And
The logs were in real good shape.
that's what the office is now.
That's what the bathroom is.
The bathroom, okay. Little square bathroom out front of the park. What's this building above us?
This is the root cellar. Got a door in here.
Oh, it sure does. There's a hole back in there. How about that?
Never did go in it for fear of it caving in to see if there was anything on the shelves. Just got rock siding to keep the dirt away.
It did cave in, looks like.
Oh yeah, it was caved in really when we came here, but not quite this bad.
Uh-huh.
And it was big. It looks like it's about 16 feet square.
See, the roof goes back in there. Okay.
The thing that we found amazing about this main house was that there were still cupboards in it, with china in the cupboards. And up in the top there was closets up there with clothes in the closets, shoes.
Huh.
There's quite a few Sears and Roebuck catalogs where you could buy shoes for 99 cents a pair.
From the 1920s?
1920s, yeah.
The one I pulled out from under the house yesterday was 1922.
There was a stack of newspapers up in the upper area up there. And on one of them, the front page cover, Amelia Earhart had just crossed the Atlantic Ocean. And on that same front page, Will Rogers was featured. He was still alive and doing things. He knew Amelia Earhart. They were friends. The calendar on the wall was 1945. And we just assume that from the history that we've read now, that the U.S. government finally made a deal with Canadian government to reimburse these farmers up here for killing their crops with the emission from their smelter. Killed a lot of livestock too with the lead in the grass. But apparently they finally made a settlement, and that was about the year that they made the settlement is when they left here, leaving everything in the house. And why they left what they did, I don't know, because a lot of china was good.
Wow.
And we left it here just to show friends as they came to see us. But when we moved to Utah, as we've been here about 5 years, moved to Utah, and somebody came in and logged the area above us. China was gone, the doors were broken down, the hinges were taken, the windows were all broken out. It really left a mess. It's disappointing. Another house, the one that we had for the office in the RV park, came from over here. This little house sit right in this corner here. It was 10 by 12. And the stove, we just took the house around, off and around it too. It didn't move. That's the old kitchen stove that was in the house.
Huh.
But the ceiling in this one was about that high. The door was about that high. The front door was right here, and I like to think that Grandpa and Grandma lived in this house, and the kids took care of them because it was so tiny. They had a bed in the back corner. It was a wooden bed frame still there. They had a little wooden table under the window, which was right here, and a little short door. And that's all the openings that there were. Across the way here was the shop, where apparently they took care of their farm machinery because there's an old sickle in there. There's a cutter bar, Maybe I can find that.
There's a cutter bar.
This was off of the horse-drawn mowing machine.
Huh.
You can see it's only about 4.5 feet high.
Got a knuckle on the one end that makes it go back and forth.
Now
Yep.
the pitman stick set on here.
Yep.
I thought we had a pitman stick in here, but maybe not.
Did you find that mayonnaise jar filled with gold nuggets the old guy left here?
No.
I can trust you when you say that, right?
There's an old jack,
Yeah.
and there was a propeller. It looked like they tried to do some wind generating. Here's a handle off of one of their machines. This is
Hitch.
All that steamed oak.
now this is the little buggy where it could pivot. This was mounted to the. This part here would be mounted to the shaft with the tire went on, the wheels went on.
Uh-huh.
Tines off of that old machine over there, the hay picker upper. Anyhow, there was some dynamite on the shelf over here. And we just let that slowly deteriorate.
Yeah, that's the best thing. Oozing that nitroglycerin out of there. You
Huh.
just kind of leave it alone.
But other than that, this building is, they've all gone downhill real fast in the last several years.
Now, once they lose the roof, that's
Yeah.
a start right there.
Got plants growing up through it now, and the building's not in very good shape.
This building here, this wall would stand up that way,
Uh-huh.
and indications are in there that this is where they stored the buggies. Because it had buggy parts in it. And,
Yeah, there were still doors and tops and pieces of the buggies sitting in there.
yeah.
And this was kind of the back wall of their little garage.
The garage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this bed frame came down from one of those rooms up there.
The second story room on this side was where we carried it down from.
Kind of deep.
And it had some old brass finials on it there, didn't it? Brass plated. No, that's brass.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That would be cute in the cabin at the park
It really would be.
if it was in any shape at all.
Just in a little bit, even in rusty it'd look neat, but
Yeah.
just a little bit more.
We set it off to the side and a couple of window frames and door parts over there against the tree.
There was a porch, a nice porch on this side of the house, and then turn around to this side of the house.
That was almost 12 feet. I'd say, what, 10 feet high?
Really, yeah, it was a nice porch.
Had pillars on it all the way around.
Yeah. We found a picture in the house, and it was, somebody was out there taking the picture. This tree was about 10 or 12 feet high.
Huh.
And the guy standing by it had a hold of the bridle of a big Belgian horse. And it was really a neat picture. And of course the house was all built in nice shape now.
Well, seeing those other old numbers on there really got me going.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Well, the thing that was surprising to me, John, I found a piece of molding, and on the back side of that there was a number.
Really, like every single piece. Huh. That just makes me wonder.
It's very possible that they could have built it out here and numbered it from a shop
Yeah.
to take it into the building, but
And the script on it is really old-fashioned kind of handwriting. I mean, it really is.
it's also very possible that they ordered the house from a shop downtown.
Could have been. This is John Parsons. He's the new owner of the property.
There you go, right on tape. Welcome to the homeland.
And this is our son Mike.
Of course. Right. I shouldn't have started petting you, should I? No, that was my big mistake.
Let's get a quick tour of the machine shed.
I'm going to go around
To the animal sheds, yeah.
Okay.
We'll get the tape all together and take another 10 minutes or so.
You guys can bring the pickup over.
Looks like I started that on the right side anyway.
We're gonna walk on up to the animal building.
What you can do is assume that there was water in the well because they had that pumping.
Yeah.
This is where the well was. John,
I actually dug it up, but the gophers, or the ground squirrels, went and covered back up for me. They put about a foot of dirt back.
Wow.
Yeah, the stub of the old pipe is down there.
we took the pump up there now.
Oh, did you do it?
Yeah.
Good. That's good.
Okay, hold on.
Apparently this is where they harnessed their horses. There are several wooden pegs in the wall. There's a little manger up here. There was two harnesses, pieces of straps of harnesses hanging on those.
So that's probably where they.
So we just
Saddle
assume
them
that
up
they take them in if it was storming and put the harnesses on them or took the harnesses off. This machine here, the tongue is underneath, so the machine when it's operating is up this way.
Up level.
And
Yeah.
apparently this tongue part should be out front. That's all I can figure. Because the pickup attachment here picks up the hay.
Yeah, the wheels actually sit on the ground down here and then go up into the
Yeah.
machine.
And then these arms are like raker arms in a combine.
Uh-huh.
And they just rake it up to whatever they're putting it on in the back. And we'll uncover that and see what we want to do with it.
Yeah. It's
Over
got some.
here, there was a little building here. Now this tree is growing up right in the middle of it. And from what we could tell here, it was about the right size, and there were parts in it that looked like they had a Model T Ford. And this is where they parked the Model T Ford. Because there was a little door, there were several things in here that indicated a Model T Ford.
Those old Model Ts would just go anywhere, wouldn't they, with their skinny little tires?
Now this is their livestock complex. The big shed area here is where they stacked loose hay. And it was a good sized area.
Taller shed was almost 15 feet high, looks like.
Yeah.
And that's why they didn't join those logs up then, huh, Ralph? Let
Just-
air through there?
Yeah.
Apparently, yeah. On this side, yes.
Uh-huh.
That was on purpose. And this is the milking parlor. There's, I think, 8 or 9 stanchions in there
For milking?
for milking. And what they did, instead of having, like a lot of stanchions are like this, and when the cow gets in, they close it on them. There's a strap hole in the bottom, down to the bottom of the manger. And the cows probably had a collar on, and when they come in, they just strap them into that manger. And then over here, where we're throwing all the debris, there was a little calf pen, two or three little calf stalls, looked like where they raised the baby calves, put them on milk or bottle or bucket probably. And there were several little pens in here. It's just indicating that this is where they raised the baby calves. And then this one is a separate and apart from the others, and this is the pig pen, pig house.
Two different walls there.
Yeah. It's interesting that they had a door over here, apparently to let the pigs come out. And there's troughs in there. And on the other side, don't know whether you can see it or not in there. That little chute, can you see that little chute in there?
Yeah.
So they could put the slop in there without having to get inside the pig pen.
A little chute right there that slants down from
This was
through
probably
the logs.
under it to take the slop.
Well, I'm sure that the young children spent many happy hours in that milking stall.
Let's go around to the front of the door, see if there's some top door and the bottom door.
So they could actually come through the milking barn with milk, say, and slop the hogs.
There's a window on that side. There's not much to see here.
See that they had a door out this direction to bring the cows either from the pasture or just to get into, one or the other. And they had windows across there to let light in.
This guy sure knew how to use wood.
I'll say. Now out across the meadow here, where you see the real neat outhouse, I really like that. Just beyond that, and the other side of the tree, that broken off tree, they had a 16 by 16 cabin. And that's what we took down and put in the park now that we're using for a cabin to rent. And to the right of the tree towards Canada, they had another huge hay barn.
Yeah, there was something big there, huh?
And there was one wall still standing when we came, and it looked so dangerous we hooked a rope on it and pulled it down. And that's what all that debris is out there. And of course John's put up his castle on the hill.
Yeah, that's his home
That's
is his
just
castle.
really cute. Home sweet home, yeah.
I hope it's not forever, but it's nice now.
But we used to harvest the meadow here, harvest this for alfalfa.
I didn't know you planted alfalfa up here.
Oh, it had a lot of alfalfa. in it.
Oh, how'd it do?
Really well.
Did it? Huh?
Yeah.
That's neat.
It was grass and alfalfa together, brome
Uh-huh.
grass.
When did you quit planting alfalfa up here? Russ?
Well, you don't plant it. You plant it once and it grows forever until it dies.
Oh, okay. You don't have to reseed it or anything? I
Well,
thought you had
until it starts dying, then you reseed
Uh-huh.
alfalfa.
to- Okay. And that's usually how long?
Well, it depends on the dryness.
Yeah. Could
But
be.
alfalfa in a good area can go 12 to 15 years.
Can it really? I didn't know that. Huh.
Up here in this area, they figure 6, probably, maybe
Okay.
8.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful country, but it rains so much it's hard to harvest hay.
We'll take a look in the shed here.
Now, the weather has changed. The old timers tell me. Phillips over there, for example. He says there used to be
There's a stanchion. 1, 2, 3, 4,
it was rain
5,
spring until about the middle of June.
6, 7, 8 cow stanchion.
A good month. They wouldn't get any rain. Get their hay crops in. No
See
problem.
the little strap down there?
Get the hay
The
in,
steel hole for the strap. They just strap them in with a clip.
and weather would clear up. They'd have dry weather for a good month. Get their grain in, get the second crop hay in,
That's
and
almost
then fall
ideal,
would set.
huh, in those
And he
days.
says that they could bank on it. It was just the way it was.
Huh.
But not anymore.
Yeah.
The last 30 years, it's gone erratic.
Uh-huh. Boy, isn't it erratic. First year I was up here, it was, that summer was 113 degrees on my front porch. And 90 days later, it was below zero.
Isn't
So,
that something?
yeah, that was my first year, so I thought I might have made a big mistake. Did you get some photos of the first part of pulling it down there?
Oh yeah.
That's great.
Now this one, and I didn't know this until just this morning, but Mike pointed out to me that this one's got numbers on it.
This one has numbers on it?
Oh, they had little pencil marks up inside
That's starting to make me think that
where the beams came together.
it was just part of the construction process rather than moving it. I suppose we'll never know, but
That was just up in the top part then, huh?
Yeah,
See it down here.
yeah, no.
Anyhow, this is what I called the goat shed because it had mangers over here the size of goats.
Goats or sheep.
And the chicken pen was over here, the little hole in the wall for them to go out. And the only thing I can figure here that they left this open for was to get the manure out that way.
I bet that's what it was. That's a good bit of detective work there.
It's
Ralph.
really odd that they left a hole like that in
Uh-huh.
there. But it's neat that they had wooden floors.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that was just for mucking it out. And then all this birch bark up here, that was probably roofing
Yeah,
material.
that was their tar paper.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
We took it off of the roof in 3 or 4 layers.
Huh. And that's something. A lot of work to do that.
Still in great shape though.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Oh,
We forgot a piece. It's even got a number on
yeah, it's got a number on it. Anyway, that's all I
Is this cedar too?
can tell about it. Yeah, that's cedar. Pretty neat. The dovetail joint work that these people did is just every joint gets so tight.
Well, looky there. There's a pencil mark down the side right here.
Huh. There's his old scribe mark.
And then they put
That's-
rags
Oh.
in to fill all the holes.
Burlap.
Yeah, we use a lot of burlap.
A lot of burlap.
So I suppose it'd be
joints.
something they'd have around, you know, from old burlap bags.
The thing that's amazing to me is that they cut these little holes in here. They notch these out to fit over the top of the log under it.
Yeah.
I think they call that a cope, don't they?
Something like that.
Then they
That's-
pegged a
so
lot of
neat.
the doors and windows near that. All received a peg. You can see right here. There's a peg next to the door on that side, and a peg next to the door on that side, and same with the windows. And the doors on and the windows on this side each had pegs. Like that.
To get that Swedish, they call that a Swedish cope.
Look how tight it is. It's so amazing.
Yeah. Even after it's shifted and settled and everything.
And look, you got a wide log here, a narrow log here, and a wide log here.
It still puts it
They
right
just-
together.
They just kind of switched them around.
Yeah.
and-
And then the foundation is all just
Stumps.
Cedar piling.
That's what's really surprised me the most about that house.
Yeah.
When I first came up, just you know, well, even 3 or 4 years ago, those were all solid
Yeah.
still.
Oh, they went, when they finally gave, they just went so fast.
Yeah, because that was all still square one,
Yeah.
even just a few years ago.
Alrighty.
Well, I think somebody did even more work than you're going to do up here, Ralph, putting these together.
Boy.
You just must have been having at it all the time. Did you know the family at all that
No.
used to live up there?
No, they were gone long before we got here.
I believe it's Dave's aunt or great aunt lived up here as a child, and she's still alive. She's 80-some years old. That's what he told me. I guess their name was Homeland.
Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Dave who?
Dave
LeCaire.
LeCaire.
Really?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it would be real interesting for you to talk to him. I would like to talk to his aunt and see what she knows about
Say
it.
so.
Because she evidently lived up here as a child.
Now there was a schoolhouse right up in the corner up here, just across the county road.
And that's something that is amazing.
And they moved that over to Woodspur, over by Bob Palm. Now,
Uh-huh.
Bob Palm said he did come here when Holman was, when there were people living here. He was a little boy.
Oh.
He says he would curl up behind the cook stove and sleep while the parents were visiting.
No kidding, huh? Isn't that funny? Boy, that Bob, he's got some stories that are just so interesting. I guess I think he actually went to this school, didn't he?
No, I don't think Bob did.
Okay.
Art Packenden did when he was in the
Did
7th
Bob
grade.
go to it after they
I
moved
think
it
Bob
then?
went to it over there.
Yeah, and he told me a story about the family that lives in the farm on the flats on the other side of the river, and their 12-year-old son every morning would row his little brother and little sister
That's right.
upstream.
Is that right?
Get across real quick to come here.
That's cool.
And Mom and Dad would send their kids off on a rowboat to cross the Columbia River.
Wow.
Boy.
Something in those days.
Now, this is the type of chinking that they used on the house we took down last.
Uh-huh.
They put boards up here and fill it with mud.
Just dirt.
Yeah, just dirt.
Take a little rip of cedar,
Yeah, this
Fit
just
in
helped
there.
hold it up there.
just hold the mud in.
Oh, there's a lot of this wood filler in the house. Ryan's been taking it out just to clean the logs up, pulling the nails
This
Oh.
house,
Good.
in the main house.
I think fits so tight. I'm surprised they would have needed that on there. I suppose the wind start blowing, you find out where all the little leaks are pretty fast.
Well, and then you don't know when the log's going to shrink and twist and pull when you put it
Yeah.
together.
Well, okay, I think I'll put this back in the hole so we don't stumble in there and twist an ankle.
Yeah, we made it home with a second load of logs. Grandma's out playing in the yard. What you building?
How long is that building up there? I was just looking at it. It's supposed to be long. Are they like
20 feet,
27
19, 20 feet.
something?
No,
Not that big. Are my clowns are still holding out? We're sitting in water.
need some holes in the bottom of that
Yeah,
one
we're
tray.
Sitting in water. That's not very good on him, is it? Hollyhocks are doing good. This looks to me like delphiniums. I don't think it's poppies. It looks more like delphiniums.
Could be both.
Larkspur.
Got about
coming
6
out.
different kinds of plants in
I
there.
have no idea what this is coming out. Is that baby's breath? I did plant some baby's breath and some heath. And I don't know what heath looks like.
I don't know.
Anyway.
62 degrees. I gotta try to call them. If they don't have it on.
We finally got the last logs off. The kids went up the mountain. All the boys and Brooke went up to the big tree to take a picture of the door for Mandy. And Grandpa and I loaded the logs from all the rest of the long logs, and we've got a few short logs left to throw on the trailer, and this building's done. And stored in the shed downstairs, down in the down home. We've been over scavenging little poles from the other job to make scaffolding for the big house. And these guys just got back from the big tree on their big hike. Brooke made it just fine, even with a smile. Smile. Are your feet sore? Really? Well, that's good. Those big rubber boots are sometimes hard to walk in. David sat down, then he couldn't move. I'm gonna leave that up here tonight. It's about 7 o'clock. Start again tomorrow. It's really nice right now. Hardly, I mean, there's clouds up there, but comparing, there's hardly any clouds in the sky. Here comes the dog. He went all the way to the big tree too.
Dog probably tired than we are. We're gonna have a lot of
Hi, pal.
food here, see.
Hi, pal. Hey, make yourself a spot to sit in the pickup back there. There's just lots of junk in the back.
Call it corner.
pretty sunset. With a hummingbird. Don't move, guys.
Today's Saturday. Just had hot cereal and biscuits.
You always catch me at
Mom's still asleep down at the park in the cabin.
Videos. He's gonna be showing you guys and Grandma with her.
Brooke's up with us though.
You'll see. Grandma,
East end of the house,
This is the door to the kitchen.
and the north side of the door, the numbers start with EB1 and go up through 17.
There's a log under that that's notched.
The one on the bottom that goes clear through, we're not going to be using.
Okay, EB1 actually sits on top of another one there.
EB1, actually we start the building with the north and the south beams. That'll be N1 on one end, NB1 on the other, which would be
Yeah.
the north side to our left here, or to our right. And then at the same time we kept the logs on the other side, the south side. And that's the base log.
Start with this log, so EB1 sits on N1.
Right.
That makes it easy, and then up we go. Okay.
The window on the top.
Got 11 logs before you get to the top of the door. Top of the door is EB12.
And it's notched in for the door jambs.
Between the door and the window, we have EA2 through EA8 separate logs there between the window and door jambs.
That's at EA1. Starts with EA1.
Oh, is it EA1? I'm sorry. EA8 is the top one here. Just under the opening. EB12 goes all the way through to E12 across the top of the door, or windows and the door. Okay, let's go around to this side. Oh, is E1 sitting under something or on top of something?
E1 sits on top of SB1.
Sits on top of SB1. Okay, very good. That makes it all easy going up. SB12 on this side continues all the way around on top of the door, across the top of the window to S12 on this side. We've got some logs between the window and the door again. What were they numbered?
They're numbered on the
SA.
left side of the door. It's the SA numbers. Yeah.
SAs. Okay. 1 through 11. One's in the ground. There's not much there.
Number one's going to have to be replaced.
S1's doesn't look, just a little cut off and broken here, but it goes right into the ground and it doesn't look good there by the door on the other end. Okay.
W2 sets on S1.
On the new one,
Yes, on the new one.
on the new log. So S2 sits on W2. All right?
No, W2 sits on S1.
S2 sits on W2. That's a good log.
W2 was a mistake. It should have been W1.
Oh, really?
Because we was thinking, see this one's cut off here?
Yes,
We was thinking that was going to be numbered, and it wasn't. So actually, number 2 is actually number 1.
Oh, okay. Better make a note right there while we're thinking about
We've
it.
got a note here somewhere, I think.
Put one right on the log.
Yeah,
Here we are again. We've made a little sign next to the W2 that says should have been number 1. Should be W2, 3, 4, 5. W1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instead of 2, 3, 4, 5.
I've got that note on my pad too.
Okay, good. S2 sits on W1, the new W1. All right.
No, just the opposite, Mike. This W1 here will sit on this one.
That's S1
That's
though.
S1. Yeah.
So S2 sits on W1. We got her straight.
Okay.
Okay, we come across to the window here on the east end, and we have a W5 note, which is the same underneath the window sills as the ends of the log, W5
Right.
and WB5.
And the center pieces are WA, number WA, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on.
Yeah, up. So then up from the windowsill, we've got the WA. Where are they? WA 1, 2, 3 through 8, through 7. There are the short pieces. WA 7, 1 through 7, and then W8 and is the same log as W13. Looks like
Yeah.
it goes across the top of the windows. Okay, W5 over here, the same log comes down underneath the window sill to a W5. And we're outside the building, that's why it says that. Windowsill south, but the same exact log, this one that's got a little cut in it right there, comes across underneath this windowsill, and over here the numbers are WB4, windowsill north. This end says WB4. Alright, it's the same log. All the way up, 19 logs to where it starts the taper on the roof.
B.
Okay, now we've got in this northwest corner, we've got WB1 on one side, and it sits on top of
The WB1's the base, that's where we start. And
WB1 is
then
the
NB is the base.
yeah, NB1 right there is sitting underneath WB1. So apparently the east-west beam starts.
Yeah, we put the north beam down and the south beam down, and then we start the building.
Okay, you can see the work there. NB1 on the left sits underneath WB1 on the right. He just came from the north and the west corner there, WB and NB1. Past this window, which is marked on the inside. It's labeled northeast window, west jamb and east jamb on the north wall. Then we come over here to this next window in the kitchen, and they have these short logs between the windows, so we've labeled them NA1 through 7. N12 goes across the top of both windows from this corner. Inside the window here, he's got some jambs labeled. What are they? No, north kitchen jamb, east side, and west side of the jamb. Okay, down here we've already made enough notes. I think we're back to start. So start with this log. Set EB1 on this corner. EB is the one on top of N1 around the corner. That's EB1 right there. They were up on the top of the kitchen. A lot of floors broken out, but this one's still solid. Our crew's hanging on while we take a quick video of the numbering and picture of what's going on. Above Ryan here, on the east end, there's a window. It says upper east window there. Upper east window, south and north jamb. And let's see, they're numbered outside. ET. So the ET starts from this wall down here at the top of the beam on the north wall. There's some slanted stuff. So once we get above the wall, we've numbered them east top. ET 1 through 16. You can see the numbering on this side above the window is easier to get at. This one's ET8 all the way through 16 up top. These pieces are numbered inside. On the outside of the window, below the window, they're numbered on the outside tape. Okay, up here on the cross beams, the main 3 beams, including the center beam, we've labeled the first beam up, main roof beam, south side of the roof, east end number 1. This one's labeled number 2. You can see it there. Then the center beam is not labeled. It's rotten, but that would have been beam 3. Up there, you come down to beam number 2 on the north side, number 1 on the north side, and the wall. The rafters on the north side of the house are labeled north roof, rafter, lower end. Upper end is of course on the center of the beam. 1 through 6 starting from the west end, looks like. 1 through 7, this happens to be number 6. This is an east end, north side of the roof eave extension. We've labeled them number 1, 2, 3 as they go up. You see, this is the first one, they go up the roof, the second one, third there between, helping to hold out these eaves out over the side. We've got 3 of those on each end of the building, on each side of the building. This happens to be the north. There's an east, north eave extension set, and so on. Looking from the kitchen back to the other end of the house on the west, you've got this doorway with a notch in it. Up there you can see the logs come out a foot to begin with as they come out, about 6 or 7 logs up the beam around it. This doorway is labeled upper center door, south jamb. Got a lot of numbers in this room. Looks like we started just inside the door here with M1 there on the floor, and it sits on O1 right there. O1 through O17, which is the top. That's the one that the beams sit on there. Okay, we'll probably leave this little board. That's where they attach their ceiling, and it's attached to M15, M16 above the doorway on up to the pitch, M16 through 20. I think they're missing 21 because 20 just sits underneath the log. Okay, let's come back down the other side. These little pieces here that go through to the other doorway are labeled K12, on this door anyway, K12 through K1, right there above the beam. This little set that makes up this wall is labeled H1 in the same room through H17, the top log that the roof sits on. I'm in the upper southwest corner room, little tiny room back here, and I'm showing you how we've labeled these corner roof eave extensions. This one happens to say south roof extension down, goes down south out over the eaves in line with the wall. It's called WX. And then this one's broke off, but it's supposed to go out that way over the eaves that sits on the south wall. We've labeled it SX, south wall eve extension. Now we're in the same room here. I'm going to turn around and look at this doorway, a little tiny doorway. We started with W1, which sits on log number 14 above the other door. WTS1, I'm sorry, WTS1 through WTS14 all the way up as far as we could fit a piece of tape, and there's another one up there on the log 17 for the top of the wall from the other side. Okay, I think we've about got all the video we need to see just for visual. In the living room, looking back through the kitchen door, some of these pieces where the stove or the fire or the chimney are real rotten, and so they may break up. So we made some marks from this inside wall, window here in the front room facing east. Down there in the corner we've got E1, and C2 kind of sits on it, even though it doesn't. It's notched in there halfway above E1, so C1 is in the ground. C2 through C14 C12, C14 comes across. Here's a B14 right there. It comes down to B12, which was C12 on the right end there over above the door is the same log. B12 is the same as C12. Comes across here into some real rotten stuff. Okay. B12 goes all the way down the left side of the door going into the kitchen from the living room to B1 there in the ground. Yeah, B14 and B13 to the left side of this door, B12 being in the top of the door. Let's follow B12. B12 comes across, goes through the hole. See, it goes over the top of the hole and goes through the wall in this back bedroom here in the southwest corner. And the other end of it is labeled WF12 over here, and they're all supposed to be the same log, WF12. Some of them might be broken in the middle there by the door. In the storage room looking out toward the kitchen, where the staircase used to go up to the upstairs. To the right of the door jamb, we have AN1 here on the floor. See, the floor sits on something else down there. AN1. And the floor is still existing. You can see the floorboard there. Right here. So AN1 sits above the floor. AN1 goes up to AN11, which is the top of the door. Goes across to R3, top of the door. See that? Then we have a couple of logs that go across the top of that, which are labeled R4 on this end and R5 next to the staircase. Below R3, at the left hand of the door, we have two vertical pieces labeled R2 and R1. Labels are on the bottom. Below those are some horizontal pieces, and you can see we've labeled those 5 pieces P1 through 5. They supported the staircase. They're notched into the wall there. Not very long, they're only about 4 feet long next to the door jamb. Okay, let's go up and over the top of the door. When we get back in here, just the other side of the wall from the chimney, we have a T1 piece next to a T2 piece. And a plate in the middle where the chimney may have gone around the corner. T1 and T2. T1 and T2 are above the door by about 4 inches, looks like. This AN11 is the top of the door. The next log is underneath T1 and T2, which is just down from the ceiling. The boards that hold the ceiling up are the next log. Outside the east end here by the window again, the pieces that go north from the window are labeled ET 0 through 8. ET0. That one's a 0, and the next one's a 1 because we forgot to label the log that was the one below that goes all the way across to can't see, 17 is log 17 going up. Okay, but if you go to the other side of the window here, that was ET0, is ET0 south. Those were ET0 north, these are ET0 south, ET1 south, ET2 south. They're the little pieces that go up to the peak of the roof. Okay, well I think that's enough video. We're ready to start taking it down. Hi, pal. Getting close to noon, and the lady said they were going to bring lunch up here after a while, so we'll just keep working until they get here. In the living room, we've made a little scaffolding. Got a log coming up there in the corner, and it's supported by a little nail right there. That helps to stabilize it against the wall. And we've got a 1x6, I think, goes across and just helps hold those steady underneath there. And on top of that, we've got some 2x8, 2x10s, 2x8s. They come out here and sit on the roof of the kitchen. ceiling of the kitchen and the floor upstairs, 2 or 3 places across. We've also got some logs that are 16 feet long that span the beams. The first set of beams up span across there. We got one in the center, and we've got one on this side, and then we've got one of these 2x6s that are only 12 feet long, and they span up underneath the center beam. So we've got a pretty good set of scaffolding. We've got this log here helps to support the end of that one right there, just because it's a little rotten up there, and we've got a lot of weight walking back and forth on it. So it's probably okay, but we're being cautious. We also have a piece of log goes up to the center beam to help hold it. You can see it up there. I can't see it. There it is. Just up underneath there to make sure that when we cut the end loose that it doesn't break up and fall, and we have a little bit of support there to help hold it. We're starting to remove the main roof structure. When Nephi was here, we pulled all of the little boards, little tiny poles all the way across that help support the shingles. They all came down with the shingles. Now we're taking the main supports off and the eave extension. You see these guys up here working on the corner of the southwest corner. Now we've taken 4 or 5 logs off this end. You get a starting to hand them down. We set them out here through this window. Got the first 3 sets laying here. ET16 down to ET12. We got the first 6, huh? Oh, wake up, dog. They called from home, said they'd be up and ready to leave in 15 minutes. With lunch.
That's the pig right there.
They have pegs in them all the way down. 2 pegs in each log. Or yeah, 2 pegs at a peg at each end on each log. Broke it loose. He sawed the beam out up there. See the end of the beam? It wasn't really sitting on anything. You had a little piece dangling from the end of ET11. Must have taken the top of the other log under it. Okay, can you get that, David? Tyson's handing the log down. Yeah, don't break that little piece. There you go. Part of ET. Moose. Starting to get kind of heavy.
Hey David, I'm gonna throw this tree. That goes on the end.
Which end?
You can tell, I think.
On the other side.
Was that ET11? A little broken up.
Not that end, Dave.
Okay.
Right there. Okay. Come back inside and see what they're up to here.
No, we gotta cut this center beam out. Okay, I'm gonna cut the rest of the center beam out down to that brace.
This is tight walking. Don't ever show this to the OSHA man. Get it. Tyson's got a hold of it and it's hollow. Show me the top of that log.
Right down there.
Show me the top of that thing.
Turn it over and let him see the top.
That's completely hollow and it just rotted in the middle.
Hit the ground with it. Those braces can help.
Oh, it crumbled and fell into 1,000 pieces.
Again.
Yeah, this one can just go. I think we can let it drop.
Just drop it.
Yeah.
It just about came at me, but I saw it coming.
Okay, that's all we can do here.
Just barely hanging there. Whoops, there it went. Moving on down the line.
Okay.
That's nice. He's just drove in for lunch. They say they have warm food.
Brooke, come get this other thing. You get him, pal. You get him, I always thought that camera fun.
What's the dog growling at? Come here, pal.
Oh, we found a tablecloth.
You have a blanket to sit on. You sit up one of the doors across the barrels for a table.
I can't hold it.
You did have a tablecloth.
Well, actually, I had this summer. I took it to Goodwill, and then I decided when I get to Goodwill because I decided I wanted to crochet it into a rug. And I had taken it apart for a rag.
We just barely started. Got up here and had to do some preliminary work. Took a video of the numbering system again. Sawed that center beam out and away we go, and it won't take long from here on. Okay, what's for lunch?
Wraps.
Wraps?
Wraps.
What's a wraps?
What's a wrap like? You're going to find out.
David knows how to do the wraps.
Does he? Well,
He can dance, but Ryan has to do
he
the...
can teach us what to do with them. Yes. Yes, we need to have a blessing, God.
They're already made and ready to go.
For each of you, I think. Yes.
Let's see how good it is.
Okay. We do have napkins to help you out when you're done. Okay. And,
You got the bottom end, so.
yeah, I think
Oh, this is my plate right here.
Somebody sounded like it was good.
Hold on, David. Don't flip and flop too much.
This is for the chips, you guys. Here's some tortilla chips. And
Mom's
these, I
found
think,
herself a
are
rusty
flavored.
chair.
These are salt and vinegar chips. And these are just taco chips. Okay? And you put this on your wraps if you want it. It looks to me like they're pretty juicy, so you may not want it.
Okay.
But you can use blue cheese or ranch. They're both good on them.
Where's the sauerkraut?
You're funny.
Eat it. Okay, lunch is over and here we go again. Should come down real fast now that we've got the top beam and the peaks of the logs out, the real fragile stuff. It may get heavy where we need to bring the crane in, but for now, we're off and running. Okay, we about got the roof down. A little piece here and 2 more beams. Come clear back, David, so it doesn't teeter over and hit you. This one's short enough. The other end was rotten. This is a decent end of the board, but it's not worth anything, so we're just going to push it on across.
Ready?
We've got some runners for it to come out on. It doesn't take the wall down.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off!
Good aim!
Now we can take the ends.
Now we take the ends off, start taking that back room upstairs down. We're getting down to where it's halfway manageable, where it's not quite so risk-taking all the time. Log here was the second to the top beam, and it's all in good shape. It was one solid beam, so as heavy as it was, we tied ropes around both ends and then wrapped ropes around the upper beams and just lowered it down these poles from the slid down the top sides, end sides, the top of the wall, and then onto these things and right down there with ropes on a slip pulley system upstairs around the other logs. I'll work on this for a while and come back. Grandma just brought some malathion and we're spraying ants. There are ants everywhere and they've been biting us for hours, so we're going to fix them. We have 3 gallons of water and 1 pint of malathion mixed in. It's pretty heavy, but that's what it says to mix for ants and roaches and that kind of thing, spiders. Sun's going down on us. We got to the ceiling of the lower floor. Starting to run out of time. We've got 3 more long logs around each wall across the top, and then they'll all be short logs. Breaking in the ceiling.